Sorry, just getting down on my knees here.
Do you want me to take the camera for a minute so you can breathe? Ryan is like been working and he's like sweating and gasping for air. So
No, I was just
he's
trying
like,
to.
we are gonna start this live stream right now. So.
Yeah, no, I was just trying to get out of the sun. Sorry, this camera is. Sorry, I just feel.
I just can't give a straight face with you, like.
I just feel like heat pulsating from my body.
Did we not just have
That did happen. Mallory is the gatekeeper on my moronity.
Twitching it?
So I think let's start with the update, and then we'll seriousness of Huckleberry being here. I know there's all kinds of stuff on that poor boy.
Yeah. So we've got good news and bad news. Like I feel like overall the news is not great. It's not what we would hope for. But so basically, recap: Huckleberry had urinary stones. He got a partial blockage. We had to take it to North Carolina State University because that's the closest hospital for farm animals. They had to do emergency surgery, open up his abdomen, scrape out the stones, put in this tube for him to urinate out of, and hope that that will help resolve things, and then clamp the tube, and then he can pee again. So in between, he had some complications. We had to take him back in. Oh, you're feeling full, buddy. A second time to.
I feel like we cannot stress enough. When we say complications, we mean this has been endlessly complicated and a nightmare. Yeah. And the nightmare's still going, but I think we kind of like reached that where you break through the darkness and you're like, all right, we got this, just like one step at a time. So
I feel like I'm like one more piece of bad news away from.
Yeah.
But I feel like maybe we're settled in the news that we have. So I don't know, maybe not. But
I don't know. I would counter that with you are always one more piece of bad news away from understanding how much you can handle when you need to. No, like seriously, because like I think you always think this is like it, and you almost prepare for it. Like if I get this, I don't have a solution. Almost like almost like you just are gonna fall down, and then it's like something happens, and you know, like
yeah.
You do great, so.
No, thank you. I appreciate that. That was really nice. But yeah, so he had to go back. So basically, his GI system shut down. We found out he had a really heavy parasite infection. So it could have been he was, it's parasites that are normally present like in their bodies and the environment, whatever. And normally they fight them off and have a very small load if they have any. So he, being compromised, probably just wasn't able to fight it off, and so got a really bad parasitic infection. So was really touch and go. He was like not doing good, and then there was like hope, and then they got him totally eating and was being great, and like honestly, like he was like their favorite. Like they basically told me that.
No, did they tell you what they nicknamed him?
No, what?
Oh, I should I'm gonna remember stuff as we go. Well, one thing I was gonna say. They nicknamed him AI Lamb. Because they said if you said to AI, create lamb for me, and they just like created like the perfect like this is what a lamb should look like. That they said that.
They were kind of obsessed with him.
Yeah, she said like the head doctor came up with that, and it like immediately took. So he is.
Someone said he was like the sweetest lamb they ever. Like he was just like the best. Like they said he was their little mascot. Like like everyone who I talked to was like, oh, by the way, Huckleberry is the cutest. And I'm like, it's like I said thank you, but I also was like I know, because it was like he is like you can't deny. Like
is he peeing?
He's dribbling.
Okay. He might have been peeing. I just didn't see. I saw him standing like that and I was wondering. Yeah, there's like little almost fruit fly things I've seen around there. I don't think they're gonna bother it, but all right. Yeah, so this is what we're dealing with right now. He still has his tube. We were hoping it would be gone by the time it got home. The tube got home. By the time Huckleberry came home with the tube.
Sorry, I have to just stare at.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Our life is like.
I stare at lamb penises now.
Okay. Everybody just like I would like that stricken from the record.
No, it is on the record.
That is not evidence entered
I've
into the
changed what
court.
my life has become. I don't want it. I never asked.
And so,
Right, we're just, yeah, it's kind of.
yeah. I mean, but he's not standing there like he's still trying. Because
So let me finish the book
yeah,
here.
go ahead.
Let me
Sorry.
finish so got his GI stuff better. He was feeling good. He was eating everyone's hair, which is always like a great sign when he starts eating hair again. He's not tried to eat my hair since he got home, which makes me a little nervous. But
Thank you, Minnie.
that's like his sign of like happy little boy. So um, they said, okay, well, great. We're going to do his tube. And they called and said, bad news.
Would you say it's like Squid Games for the lamb hoo hoo?
No, okay. They're hoping everyone survives. Like, but good analogy.
Yep. You're welcome.
So they called and said, yeah, he's just dribbling. Sorry, we think maybe he's got more stones. So we had to wait for them to perform basically like some of the types of stones that he has were not showing up on the X-rays, the type they are. So they had to do like this contrast thing. So they did that. Then we had to wait a day for that to happen, a day for them to get the results back, and they came back and said the good news is they don't see any more stones, and he doesn't have any like scar tissue in his urethra, which could be causing it. So the bad news is they don't really know why he's not peeing. It could be inflammation. It could be just the way his body is now. It could just need time.
Yeah, they said he might have just got used to, as pee goes in there, letting it out. And it might just be forever that he's that way, or temporary that he just pee. I'm gonna get it out. But yeah, this is a lot of pee talk. But did you talk about his rumen?
Yeah, his GI.
Okay.
Well, yeah, so
got
his
it.
whole GI issue. Yeah, that was there's lots of different bad news possibilities we got. So back to now. So we're like, great. You can come pick him up. Like he seems like he's doing well. Like he's dribbling. He's emptying his bladder enough that like we're not super concerned about it. We'll do another clamp test in the future. And so Ryan went to go pick him up. We were super excited. He gets there, and you can add anything you missed. But basically, they said, yeah, like, his urine pH was also not getting low enough to dissolve stones. So that's a whole issue with trying to give him enough like of the supplement to get there. So Ryan gets there, and they're like, he's really just kind of not quite himself. He's still eating, but he's not his usual vibrant, like happy lamb self.
I think they even said, but one day, it's not too much of a worry. And I'm just like, how many good days has this poor guy had in the last like 2 months, or a month? It's like,
he was like running up to everyone and wanted to be involved in everything. And so it sounded like, he just wasn't quite.
Yeah.
So
he seems like
Ryan
good.
picked him up and brought him home. Two things. We had been waiting on the results of his stone test. So this is where we get the really bad news. We assumed they were one type of stone that is very, it's more easily controlled through a specific ratio of minerals and through taking a supplement called ammonium chloride that changes the pH of the urine. So Ryan was told the results were mixed stones, which means some of them are calcium and some of them are the phosphorus kind, and so that's like terrible, horrible news. It's like the calcium and phosphorus basically like work off of each other, and so that makes it like it's crazy hard to manage. Like, so we were devastated. We were both crying. We both were like super upset. So we got him home. We're trying to, get a place where, he can't go back in his original barn yet because of the parasite infection. We have to like treat that and everything first. So that's a whole thing. Then we had some good news today, which is making me feel a lot better from where I was yesterday, which was just like hopelessness, basically. Like, this is just a matter of time. We had found this perfect hay that had like this great ratio that I was like so excited about. And so I was like devastated. But like, okay, now it's not the perfect hay, and there's really, competing factors to prevent the stones. The good news was that I looked at the report, and it is a mixed type of stone. However, it's not, I don't know, it's hard to explain. Like, it still is, it's a magnesium, like, stone, like, the way I understand it. So, it's still calcium, calcium and it's still phosphorus, but magnesium is a big piece of it if you control the amount of magnesium. And it's still sensitive to ammonium chloride, at least mostly. So it gets very complicated, and I think the ultimate problem with all of this is there's no one treatment. There's no right answer. There's no like, here's the medication that he could take and he'll be fine. You know, it's like we got to acidify his pH, but then that can be irritating and that can cause issues. And then if you use it too much, it stops working. And then here's what we think is like a good type of hay, but even if you give him the good hay, it still may happen. And also he's eating like literally everything else besides his hay. So we have to change now all of our bedding because he loves eating the wheat straw bedding. So we got wood chips. We're changing like everything out, spending a ton of money on like revamping some things just to make sure that he's safe. But I think, and Ryan, you can add, you know, obviously like your thoughts, but I think the thing that was been hardest for us is just this feeling of like there's no clear answer, and we don't know if he's going to get another stone now, tomorrow, in a month, never, and there's no clear path to like preventing it or fixing it, other than multiple surgeries. Like we can leave the tube in case he needs it indefinitely. Like I don't know.
But they have to change it at least every like 3 to 4 months. Here, you hold it for a sec.
Yeah.
I'll give the non-scientific minded person's explanation of things real quick.
Are you like limping? Oh my god.
Sorry. Yeah, I'll share what I've been doing.
You gotta take it easy. You cannot kill yourself. Like if you hurt yourself, we're not gonna be able to do anything. This is what he does.
This is my life story. She's like, here's all the things that need to get done, and I'm like, I'm doing them, and she's like, take it easy.
Yes, that is exactly it.
I tried to do both. Oh, P. And it's a nice stream.
Oh, we're documenting this stream.
Yeah, sorry, we're very excited about this, but that was good.
That was good. That was good.
So
that's what we're hoping for. Oh, so the other good news, sorry, is that when he started peeing when he came home, like not like a super strong stream. We had way more than a dribble, so we are
like,
feeling.
That's my boy, but like.
I think that we both were like, "That's my boy" when he did it. So.
Yeah, poor kid. Why are you
He's been through so much.
Why are you shaking?
Is he shaking? Oh, that's not good. Oh, he's just panting, you mean?
Yeah.
It's hot as heck. That is the other problem. Today is like the hottest day that we've had like so far. Like it's just boiling. It feels like 105 today. It's awful. And then we may be having like a terrible thunderstorm tonight. So.
Yeah. So to give the non-scientific sort of experience of it all, like Mallory knows this stuff like probably better than the people who studied it and wrote.
I mean, I wouldn't say that, but
so,
they might take issue with that.
But like the way it's coming across to my brain is if you had calcium stones, then you want to add more phosphorus or not phosphorus, but more
less calcium.
Less calcium.
Less,
okay, less calcium.
You want to add more calcium. I mean, to a degree. Yes.
Okay.
But they don't work on calcium stones.
Because sometimes there's like nothing to go in.
This feels like a very scientific for unscientific answer.
And has, you know, from the stones, and they could have died from the surgery. Just how things went down.
Hi.
You know,
hi, love.
Hi,
donkey.
Had he not gone to NC State both times,
You see me a little better today. Sorry, I need donkey cuddles.
He could have, you know, like not been here. Like it's been very not good. And so
now you leave me.
Yeah, so our experience of all this right now is
0 stars.
Yeah, 0 stars. Oh, the donkey.
Donkey cuddles. Give me donkey cuddles.
So
hot. You probably don't want to touch that.
Oh, so
donkey cuddles. He's had some Gatorade, that's why his mouth is all red. We gotta really keep him well hydrated.
So he basically there's no like solution to like here's what you do. There's kind of like this rotation of like if this then this, if this then this, and then if it gets past a point you might be able to do this, but if it's past the point because of a different reason, there's nothing you can do other than surgery. And then the more surgery you have, the more things start to like have issues internally. And so it's just like solution wise, there's no like, we know, like usually I think Mallory and I have this feeling of like, we'll do this
Right.
and there'll be an end result.
Here's like the best treatment option. Here's like the best solution. Here's
Yeah.
if that doesn't work. Second, like there's like a clear plan, and this is very just like
Yeah.
guessing. It feels like
Oops.
a ton of guessing, and not. I mean, not that that's the fault of like the vet. It's like it is something that I think is
Yeah.
specific to their own internal chemistry and like chance of a lot of things. I love.
And sorry to everyone on Facebook, I have not been seeing comments, and I just realized like some reason we have to like make it start giving us comments. But yeah, so we're super glad to have him home. Like
Knowing here makes me so happy. I've missed my donkey.
we're
Gonna do it? No, we're not gonna eat here yet.
we're like very hopeful that he what's happening. Okay. We're very hopeful that like things are going to continue to improve and that like he will start to just have normal days. Um but yeah, like right now we're sort of get rid of the tube. We're hoping that he can start being with everybody out in the yard again.
I know he really misses everybody.
Because I think that's the hard part about if we just leave the tube. There's like that it can't be pulled out.
Yeah, and it's like I don't know. It's hard to know. Like none of our animals. We don't have goats. They were worried about. Like mostly they, I think, do this level of treatment in goats. It tends to be people have as pets and want to pay the amount of money that we're paying to do that, and probably some sanctuary animals. But they kept saying like lambs and goats will like chew it. Like I don't know. Are you okay? Hi. Is it cool? No, it's hot too. That's hot too. You're putting me. I'll be your pillow, love. I'll be your pillow. We'll get you hydrated too.
Yeah, I was gonna get his drink for him.
Well, once we finish the bar, we can move the stand over here too if he wants to lay over here maybe. I don't even know what was I talking about. Just like
Well, I was gonna say, so yeah, so what the reason I'm a disgusting mess, I don't even know what just happened there. The reason I'm a disgusting mess and just like sweating profusely, somewhat out of breath, is so I'm trying to get gravel to put in the barn to like make sure it's like a whole new floor underneath where he's laying, and then we're trying to add like a gate so that he can see everyone.
I think that was a tick. It was like crawling and I brushed it off.
And so yeah, we're basically just trying to get ready, and there's a storm coming tonight, so we kind of have to hurry, and he is the cuddle donkey. So yeah, so there's just a lot going on. We're super worried about this boy.
I feel like his whole thing has been this horrible roller coaster of like, and so now I have this fear every time we get like something that feels more hopeful, is I'm like, okay, what's coming next? Like. And if something bad happens, I'm like, okay, I think we're gonna get good news after this. Like, so it's just really hard because it just feels like it's been so up and down in terms of like.
Yeah, well, I think that's what I was gonna like, talk about for a second. Is I think a lot of times people will like, like think like, oh, that's like must be like such a perfect life to run a sanctuary. You get to like spend your day with these happy animals and stuff, and like we love it and we wouldn't trade it, and like we definitely are glad we've made this choice. But I think the cautionary tale to add to that is the number of times that like Mallory and I have been on the edge of never talking to each other ever again. Yeah, the number of times
that happened last night.
Yeah, that may have happened like many times. And
I see when couples have trouble like with a really sick kid or something, you know what I mean? I can see why it's really hard on relationships. Like,
yeah, you're just like, you have nothing left in terms of tolerance, so it's like it's like, and you like your ability to like maybe have the energy to be like, oh, what might that have meant other than the way it hit me, and just like everything, you're just empty. And so the number of times, even over just the last 6 years that we've almost ended up not talking to each other ever again, or just feeling like, can we handle this? Or, I mean, our life right now is pretty much 14-hour days daily, and like, obviously that,
Waking up and checking cameras in the middle of the night.
yeah, I mean, at 3 in the morning, I woke up and was like, oh shoot, I need to like check and make sure I didn't forget something. And then realized I needed to go get something out of the car. And, like, yeah. And then now we have the baby bird inside that we're, feeding every like 30 minutes to 45
Thank
minutes.
God
And
he sleeps through the night.
yeah, no, yeah, he sleeps through the night, which is good. But yeah, so this is not to complain. I think it's more to warn. If anyone out there is like, it would be a great thing to do, that would just be like an easy life. Like sanctuary life is, I think, it is just, it's intense and it's,
physically, emotionally, like everything about it.
yeah, I mean, the number of days when I think we've felt like we can't do another minute, and then for 4 more hours, we continued, or both of us were like crying, or both of us were like, I just have to get through this and then I'm never going to talk to this person again. And I mean, like, I don't mean to like over stress that, but it's like the reality is like,
Last night was not a good night for us.
yeah, it's like you just,
we're fine today. Like, we're much better today. Like, I
yeah,
realized that we were just like, yeah. I think like the thing about us that like makes it work, and what scares me is like if one of us ever got like sick or something, is that like I have like the mental stamina where it's like I will research something forever. I will figure out tests we need, what doctor we need, like what, researching medical things like endlessly. And I think your brain kind of shuts off eventually where you feel overwhelmed by stuff like that. And like physically, you will just like move 5 loads of gravel in the hottest day we've had so far this year, and then be like gasping for air. Let's do a live stream, And so it's like you have the physical stamina, whereas I'm like dying inside, But on my phone researching stuff about Huckleberry, so it's like between the two of us, we have like a stamina to like push through anything. As long as we both of us like functioning. It's like,
yeah, and I've always been horrible at self-care.
Thank God.
Like,
we need that.
I mean, yeah, but I think there's a point where I hit last year where I realized like you can only put off like, like sort of like your mental and, physical well-being so long before, but I think the problem is not necessarily that like, oh, once you hit that point, take a break. I think it's that
preventing that point.
And more than that, like avoiding ever coming to it, because what you can get done in 8 hours at your best might be what you're getting done at 14 hours when you burn out, but you just like won't stop, like, and so if you can avoid burnout, I think you can achieve more. But I think that's
huge, because like you used to never ever talk like that. So like I'm really glad that you have reached.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, I think, I think being aware that like you're only as good at your like what you're doing as like you're mentally and physically capable of being. And so just because you have the dedication to keep moving, it doesn't mean you're doing it as effectively. And so I think Mallory and I are both the kind of people that think, no, there's no stopping until and in the end, I think that's leads to the point.
Don't rope me into this. I didn't agree to this like self-care thing.
Yeah, but I think having an awareness of that and then an acceptance of it, which like I'm no way saying that Mallory or I have fully got to that point where we realize, hey, if you don't take time at the end of the day to exist outside of the stresses and everything, but just for anyone who is like, man, all I want to do is run a sanctuary because it looks like endless fun and work I love doing because I love animals, like, and it's like that. And I think we're some blame, and sanctuaries are sometimes somewhat to blame because we love to show the happiness. We want to make people feel good. And it's not so much fun to be like, hey, I'm going to do a live stream of 5 hours of me sweating and like feeling like my muscles can't move another inch, to make sure something gets done today. And, like having like, just the world feel like it's ending, and so, yeah. So like,
Well, the other thing I think I was talking about too today is that makes it so hard. Is that it's like a job, but it's not. You know what I mean? It's like
yeah,
it's a job, but this is our family, and so I can get up every day and be like, I need to go to work, and part of my job is to take care of sick animals, but then it's also like this is my baby who's sick, and so it's
yeah,
like very difficult to separate just what I do with like extreme emotional response to like, oh my god, my baby is sick, this is terrible, when like running a sanctuary, like at any given point there's going to be multiple medical issues that you're managing, probably. I mean, we had like a really good run there for a minute,
yeah,
but it's like someone's going to have something going on. It's pretty normal to have a certain or even a high percentage of your animals having some sort of issue,
yeah,
depending on where they come from. So like it like comes with the territory, but then it's hard because it's also a very personal thing to you, where it's like my family member is sick, but every day I have some sick family member. Like it's a different world, like a way of living, I think, where it's like work and family become
yeah.
blended in a way that is not. Are you okay? But you're so hot.
Yeah, I think he's just chilling. But yeah, I think the barn will be nice. I was gonna say, like, in addition to that, just to add, just to like, make it more heavy, but like, yeah, it's like our running a sanctuary is like taking care of the animals day to day stuff that we do, like feeding, cleanup. We haven't even got to the cleanup today, and we, like we have to.
God.
It's okay. Like we'll get it. But there's that. Then there's like, like making sure we post because, we want to keep everyone informed. We want people to feel, yeah, we know everyone cares about the animals, and, like it's nice to have like a sort of global family that, is in it with us. And then there's like the,
really helps. I was gonna say, like, when people like write or like message like, how's Huckleberry doing? Like someone that like we met on YouTube like wrote and was like, we're just really worried and we just want to know, and like it just felt really like it's very like motivating to be like, to know that other people care, about our family members like we do, and so it is very cathartic to have like support and other people kind of going through it.
fundraising, and then there's like, like our family budget is never, or not family budget, like our family finances are never they're nowhere close to where we'd like them to be. So it's like,
if this was like
yeah, so it's like,
positive, it's good.
it's like figuring all that out when in the moment of like our baby is sick. It's like,
Who cares about anything?
yeah, like everything just steps to the side, and it's like, it's just,
eventually the money to keep getting a medical treatment runs out.
Yeah.
So we gotta go back to fundraising and
yeah, so it's like we're constantly, and that sometimes is like part of the turmoil of running a sanctuary with like your wife or your husband, is like one person.
things to fight about.
Yeah, it's like Mallory's like really good at being like, we have to do everything they need, and we need to focus 24/7 on
And we will.
everything that they need done.
And that's what we will.
And so then like I'm like, oh, I love my wife, she's right, I am like gonna like
Also, I'm right whether you live
both. But then, and so there's like that side of it, but then there's the other side where I'm like, oh shoot, if I'm like doing all these things, like to make sure that like every possibility is taken care of, then nobody's like posting and nobody's fundraising and nobody, and it's like hard because like, I'm like, oh, why isn't she helping me do this? And she's like, why isn't he working on this? Why, like, is he, and so,
focused on Huckleberry 24/7.
yeah, like everything falls apart. And then in doing that, we're both stressed that not enough of everything is getting done, and then we turn on each other, and then it's like, like, you never blah blah blah. Yeah, I mean, it's like the reality. It's like
Yeah,
90.
you see a lot of things for couples get, not all, but like when
Yeah.
his dads like got divorced, that
Yeah.
like broke my heart. Like I was like, is there even hope for us?
And someone just said they can't donate because it's not available in their currency. If you go to lifewithpigs.com, we have like a bunch of other ways that may or may not be possible. So if that's something you're interested in doing, like we have like PayPal, Venmo, we have like just like a credit card way to do it. So there's like should be on lifewithpigs.com because I mean like not to like tie this all in, but it's like we have gone about a month without really focusing on fundraising. I think we started, like, we sent out a newsletter not too long ago, and that was kind of like okay, we've just spent between Miles and Huckleberry, probably like $12,000 in the last, I don't know.
Yeah, I've not even had a chance to go and
Yeah.
our books and do our like monthly, like I kind of flying blind, except for I know that our business credit card is like getting pretty high up there.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, so basically our goal is to do the best by our animals and also to be here next year to do the best by our animals. And like, it's something we will do, but it takes like a lot of, like sort of stamina for us to sort of make it day to day. And, because that, and like, we love each other a lot. Like we are, like in a lot of ways, like so, well, in like every way that I can imagine, I'm so in love with my wife, and like I love getting to spend time with her. And it's nice occasionally not to have it be talking about, can we ever speak to each other again? And so
There's been a few moments, I just want to like say this before we like wrap up. There's been a few moments that happened that I was like, oh, this is why I married him, that really stuck out to me. So the first being on our honeymoon when he rescued the starfish from the tourists. These people were like playing the starfish out of water, which like drowns them, and so they wouldn't put it back. So Ryan just like grabbed the starfish from some lady who was like horrified, and it was like the best thing ever. And I was like, it was the most awkward.
It was a very awkward boat ride after that.
But I was like never more in love than that moment. The other one, well, there's two CPR moments where we did CPR on the groundhog.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, sorry to bring that up. And then when you did full-on mouth-to-mouth chest compression CPR on Ben, the baby turkey, when he got killed by the snake, like when you like wrestled the snake off of him, and then like full-on for like 20 minutes of just like, that's another moment where I was like, this is why I married him. So, yeah. There are a lot of reasons I was married, but yeah, definitely.
I just married her for good looks, but that was, that's a joke. This is a joke. It's all that matters. But no. So yeah, so sorry to like go on our rant there, but yeah, like sanctuary life is a lot of good, and it is brutal. So if you love the person you're married to, and you don't start a sanctuary. Really, I mean, like, honestly, like if I, outside of us, saw us and didn't know who we were, but saw the experience, I'd be like, oh man, like I love Mallory. I don't want like us to get divorced. I don't think we should do that, because there's almost no way we could survive that. So, but
he's so cute. Look how
he
cute
is.
He is. Like, he is an AI lamb. He's the cutest little lamb. He's the sweetest. He's the cutest. He's the most perfect little lamb that ever lived. And I am going to devote. Are you going to do it? I saw a dribble. I am going to devote my entire life to figuring out how to make sure. Oh, there we go. Got a little stream. That's the stream.
You're doing great, buddy. Keep up the good work on peeing.
Yeah, bro.
But so yeah, so
I see what you mean. Where
Let's see. Cutthroat Angel said, as a former horse trainer and show, yes, I understand. And then Gerard said, bonjour. Bonjour.
I'm sorry, I have to watch this.
Je m'appelle Ryan. Yeah.
That's true. Like,
Yeah, and he's like holding it long enough to like.
yeah.
Sorry, Huck. Sorry, the whole world knows about
The
your
whole
pee
world
habits.
knows about your pee, but you're doing such a good job. You're chewing the cud and you're peeing and you're doing so good. And we are so proud of you, little man. Like
So,
this face, like
yeah.
this face is everything birthday.
Oh, Pure Pre. Welcome back home, Huck. I think I saw Paula too. So yeah, everybody who's been saying stuff. Sorry, we've been like just blabbering on and on. Babbling on and babbling on and on. Yeah, if any Faster Pussycat fans are out there, you know what I'm referencing there. Hey Sue, thank you Sue. Sue said she sent a check for Huck. We really appreciate that. And
Yeah,
hey
so
Rebecca, hey
like,
Sherry. Oop, Sherry said I'm confused about Mallory's hairdo. It is the.
No, like honestly, like knowing that it's Sherry, like it hurts my feelings less than like a random stranger.
Oops, we're having some issues with everyone, but all right.
It's the hairdo that you have when you've been like up for like 24 hours, like for the most part, just worrying about this.
So, yeah. All right. Well, we are losing everything here, but yeah. So thank you everybody for sticking with us through this journey. We're gonna try to like be more on top of updates and everything, like driving to North Carolina. Yeah.
Post updates there. I'm really trying to stay on top of that. So doing our Patreon really helps.
Yeah, like, and I.
Sponsored animal.
Yeah, sponsored animal. Like, we're gonna be coming back hard with our social media game. So expect great things coming. Like, it has been survival for a while. So, but we will talk to you guys all soon. Thank you so much for joining us.